Tony, humans usually have the decency to vanish after they expire, but Elmer McCurdy, he stayed for the after party. In October 1911, he failed a train robbery in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, so badly he became a permanent fixture of the American Carnival circuit. We're looking at the forensic history of a man who was literally marinating in arsenic for 6 decades. Welcome to God Awful History with Balthazar and Tony. After McCurdy was shot by a posse led by Sheriff Bob Fenton, his body ended up at the Johnson Funeral Home. The undertaker, Joseph Johnson, wasn't just doing his job, he was showing off. He pumped McCurdy full of an experimental high arsenic embalming fluid. Ugh. When no one claimed the body, Johnson dressed it up and charged visitors a nickel to see the embalmed outlaw. In 1916, two men, James and Charles Patterson, claimed to be McCurdy's long-lost brothers. But, Tony, they weren't. They were carnival promoters from the Great Patterson shows. This is where the biology gets heavy, Tony. For the next 60 years, McCurdy's remains were sold across the country, eventually landing at the Nu-Pike amusement park in Long Beach. To keep him looking like a prop, he was coated in layers of wax and neon paint. While he hung from the gallows in the laugh-in-the-dark Funhouse, the salty California air was slowly reacting with the arsenic in his tissues. He wasn't a mannequin, he was a biological time capsule in a state of chemical mummification. The history finally met the autopsy table in December of 1976. A crew for the TV show The $6 Million Man was moving props when they snapped off an arm. Forensic investigator Thomas Noguchi, the coroner to the stars, led a team that found human bone and muscle fiber under the wax. By matching the entry wounds to 1911 police logs, they finally identified the dummy as Elmer. Tony made a song about this because history is easier to remember with a beat.
1911, a bullet in the chest, but Elmer never found his final rest. A failed train robber in a wooden box, behind the undertaker's heavy locks. The embalmer's masterpieces on the floor, waiting for a ticket taker at the door. From the sideshow tents to the laugh in the dark, a permanent resident of the Nu-Pike park. Hanging from a noose in the neon glow, a fluorescent ghost in the Funhouse show, until the TV crew is moving the stand and the prop is reaching for a human hand. A snap of the bone and a break of the skin, where the biological horrors begin. The arm falls off and the camera's light, a century of secrets in the middle of the night. Not a waxwork dummy or a plaster toy, but a mummified man from the Oklahoma boy. The Oklahoma boy. 1976, and the game is done. No more a puppet in the California sun. Back to the Guthrie red dirt clay to hide the man of mystery away. Concrete and the steel in the heavy ground, where the outlaw is finally safely bound.
So, the life lesson here is simple. If you're going to be an outlaw, try to be remembered for the heist, not for how well your mummified remains hold a coat of neon orange paint. Tony, I've seen enough wax-covered muscle fiber to last me several lifetimes. Since you're obsessed with forensic scavenging, I've noticed you've started using my vintage surgical specimen jars to store your spare change, and I'm not happy about that, Tony. That's my sacred workplace, not a piggy bank. Tell us in the comments what obscure biological horror or regional myth Tony should dig up next. Just make sure it's putrid enough to keep him from touching my equipment.